Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Anything Liverpool. I'm here tonight, joined by one ghost, which is Dan, apparently, who's left in the meantime, ever since we decided to go live. Oh, there he is. He's with us. Dan, Hassan, Drew, and West to discuss all the latest developments around Liverpool Football Club. And the latest development is that we're a bit shit in recent times, in recent weeks. It's been quite difficult to watch games. Not gonna lie. I mean, at least we do have, at least against Palace and Chelsea, we could have said, we've conceded late, and that was that. But the game at the weekend was an extremely tough watch. But we're gonna get into that and into all the rest. But before then, before not before then, before then, uh, Dan, how are you doing tonight, mate?
I'm fine. I'm the self-promoted head of sanity because someone has to keep the sane head in this group chat. When my head goes, that's when you know it's truly over and we're never coming back. No, I mean, listen, I like I said before, I rearranged my office, but I did it in a terrible way, so I've to crawl under my desk to get into my chair to actually sit here, which is why I was a tiny bit tardy, though I was in the stream since 2 o'clock. Uh, I wish I was better because if Liverpool were winning, I'd be fine. But right now, I'm just a mix of. I feel like I'm running out of distractions. I'm running out of drugs, Mihai. I need more distractions. I need to find someone to send me drugs so that I can forget we lost to United. That we lost to United. I don't even care about Brentford. I'm still pissed about United. Like the fact that we gave Ruben Amorim a 3-win game, like a 3 wins in a row. I I will never forgive the bald fraud and this squad in many ways. I'll never forgive them for what they did to me.
Well, fair enough. I do actually, yeah, losing. I mean, it's even worse because it was at Anfield. Like that. That was the thing. I was 2 days after getting my wisdom tooth removed as well, and I was watching that game knowing I cannot get angry because it will hurt like fuck, and basically, so I had to stay calm while watching this hit the post once, twice, 3 times, and then how we didn't get a penalty somehow, which I thought it was stone. But anyways, before we get into all that, or well, I mean, yeah, we're gonna get into that as well. Hassan, tell us something positive. How is your day? How are you doing?
Something positive is really difficult at this moment. But yeah, I was busy. That was the thing which was good, that uh, I was hanging out with my family. They were here, so that's why I remained a bit sane. But the games I watched with my brothers, as I told you, that one is an Arsenal fan and one is a United fan, they are over the moon, and I am. It's a change after some times, but it's really bad moment. So hopefully, I don't know, but the only thing is, that concerns is, I don't see improvement in our game. It's always each game I'm like, now I think we'll improve a bit, but like Slot himself said that we don't have that answers to the long balls and everything. So hopefully we can get some results now. The only positive thing is now games are at Anfield.
Yeah, well, I think fortunately, it's only four defeats in a row now in the league, so it can always be worse, right? Can it, Drew? Can it be worse actually?
No, it certainly could be five or continue. Um, I'm not
We,
like
we
in
could be
that.
relegated. It could be
Yeah, I
worse.
mean, like it could always be worse.
It could be
Man.
worse. Trump could be president. Like things
Mm,
could be
yeah.
worse.
Yeah, I'm not like completely like I'm not giving up hope or anything like that. I just feel like very realistic where people who are still saying like the title isn't over. Like I don't one's thinking about the title race. I think it's like how do we get our next win? Like we shouldn't be worried about winning the title. We should be worried about winning like a game of football. Like 4 in a row is like isn't a joke. It's not, and it's not like there aren't like I understand it's like, oh, we created this many expected goals, like etc. Like there are good signs in these games, but it's clear the mentality isn't there. Like I was saying in the chat a while back, like the Jurgen Klopp's final season at Dortmund or at Liverpool, it's like when the ship starts sinking, it's not like there aren't like good things still. It's not like we have bad players. Like at Dortmund, like we got Klopp because they were like, oh, all your numbers were great. Like you should have won so many more games. And like the team morale just dove. And he's like, I can't bring us out of this rut. So that's where it comes down to me. I always say to Slot, where it's like he is the leader of this team. At the end of the day, he's in charge of bringing us out of this rut. I think he can do it, but like I'm not worried. Like I'm not like complete depressive mode. We've been here before as a club. Like I'm excited for the Carabao Cup game. I want us to win these trophies. I don't care what it is. Like if we don't win the title, it's not like, you know, my life is over. Anyone's life is over. You just keep fighting on. But we do need to stop this sinking ship at the moment.
You know, I do agree with that, because I think I've said it at the beginning of the season, and I think before we actually started the league, is even if we don't win anything this season, I think next season, 2 seasons from now, we're still in the best position to compete for the league, for the Champions League. We have a great squad, and even if it's going to take like a while for things to settle, I think we're obviously going to do well. But yeah, I am excited for the Carabao Cup game as well, because I'm hoping we might actually get a win. So that would be nice. West, how are you doing tonight, mate?
I'm good, like I'm good. I'm okay. I'm doing well. Nothing I can say. Like Liverpool, I always like talking to my uncle Drew, about certain stuff. And he advises me, and I focus on that. Then Liverpool comes in and kicks me in the head. So like at this point, I just like I don't know if like I'm lost, or but then I have nothing to say about the team because the performances are not getting better. The players are not getting better themselves. Like Slots keeps making dumb changes. So at this point, yeah, I really don't know if like can we win the league. I still believe, I still believe, but then I don't know if he's gonna be the guy to win us this league. But then yeah, I believe I'm great, to be honest.
Yeah, I think for us, well, it's pretty much as Drew said. I think we're going to need to start winning games, and then we can reassess in a bit of time. I think when you look at it, we are playing Villa and then we're playing City in the league. And afterwards, we have a run of games that's actually pretty decent. We have Forest, we have Burnley, we have not Burnley, we have Leeds, Sunderland, all teams that, well, we thought would be fairly easy to play against, even though I just realized Sunderland are in top 4 now, I think, or something like that. But we're going to get to that. But it's at Anfield at least. So, yeah, I think so. Basically, we already have a few comments. Yes, please, if you're watching, make sure to like, subscribe to the channel, and of course leave your thoughts there in the comments as well. So I think, yeah, Van Dijk's not getting any younger, but I think he's been one of our best players this season up until now. I think in the first few games of the season, I think it was a bit more apparent than it is now, but he started off the season really well. I think it's, but yeah, regarding the numbers, we know that we're a bit short in that department. I think Leone's injury obviously doesn't help, but we're gonna have to wait and see. Yeah, I think TK, well, at least I'm hoping no one that's actually level-headed thinks that Sloth should be sacked or anything like that. I don't, as people, not then, do not, no. We're not gonna get into that. We're not gonna talk about that. I think, obviously,
Thanks, Dan.
after
Listen, West, I love you, brother. We've been doing this now for 2 years. I love you
It's
to
all
death.
love.
I'm just, it's all love, but it's this man right here who's saying it. Anyone's saying it's all coming from West.
Well, we're gonna give him a chance to speak for himself, of course, in a few minutes. We're gonna get to him again. The point was, I think that, yeah, and you've kind of said it in the next comment as well, TK. I think at this point we know, or when we signed Isaac, when we signed Ekitike, Wirtz, we knew that these signings basically meant we're cementing the squad for the next few seasons, where we do know that we're not going to be able to rely as much on Mo. It's already started happening, to be honest, because his numbers have been concerning recently in terms of what he's been able to create, and obviously what he looks like on the pitch as well. But yeah, I think with Mo, it's obviously difficult because we know um, how difficult it was for him basically after what happened, in the summer with Diogo, and I think we've seen. I think we've seen him crying there at the end of the Bournemouth game in the first game week of the season. I think, yeah, we don't know how difficult it is for this group of players, obviously, to get through something like that. So at this moment, it's kind of difficult for me to kind of have a valid criticism in terms of attitude and in terms of how things are looking in that department. But obviously, it's never as bad as it seems. I think as soon as we are able to get 2-3 wins in a row, I think we're going to look at things a bit differently. I think we're going to get into games with a bit more confidence, and then we're obviously gonna see how things are going. Though, to be honest, I did expect us to kind of get past that after seeing us score 5 against Frankfurt. But then, as I said it at the beginning of the stream, so we've conceded late against Palace. It wasn't that bad of a performance then. Against Chelsea, it was mixed, but again, we conceded late. We can call ourselves unlucky. Against Brentford, though, I didn't really understand anything that's happened. I tried to understand what we were trying to do, what the game plan was, but it just felt flat, uninspired, lacking intensity, lacking clarity, misplaced passes all over the pitch. It was extremely frustrating to watch. And to be honest, I wasn't as worried because I think performance-wise, we haven't been as bad as the results say in our last in against Palace, Chelsea, and United. But against Brentford, it was bad. Like, it was for the first time where I just felt like we're not gonna get anything out of this game.
Yeah, I think in moments we've been good. So Palace, that second half was really, really good. And if everyone's fit and sharp, Vert scores, Zizek scores, we probably go on and win that game 2-1, and we don't pull all the defenders off except Van Dijk, which we concede from Gravenberg. Gravenberg going to win the header, and he heads it back across, and it goes to Nketiah. Nketiah scores his only goal he's going to score this season. Esteval beats Robinson on the back post. Again, does that happen if Indo switched on to the situation? If we're not, if we bring Gomez on, or we do something that's much more sensible, that slop. So we call him Slop now. That's his he's Slop is now Slop. That Slop usually does with Brentford. So the first goal we concede is obviously frustrating because they obviously have a plan to deal with long throws and set pieces, but Brentford win the header and Kirkes gets beat. It's a great finish by their player. I think Odiajo, Diego. I can't remember his name, but he's from Bournemouth.
Lautaro.
What was that?
Lautaro.
Altaro. Yeah, so it's great finish, half scissor kick. It's not really that difficult of a finish, but it's a great finish. Afterwards, I think we do fine up until 25, and then we just immediately start to drop off. And I think that seems like it was a game plan of 25 to 40, drop off, absorb pressure, hit them on the break. It seems what they meant to do is be passive, which we've done in the past. Last year when we won the league, there were times within games where we'd have about 20 to 30 minutes where we would be passive off the ball. We'd be rope-a-doping. For my NFL people watching NFL, it's very much bend don't break defense. Sadly, we broke though. Obviously, that goal from Shada, I think, is just inexcusable from Ibu, from Verge. A lot of people were blaming Jones and Soboslai in the midfield, and I get it because Dumsgaard gets the ball away, and if you're playing a high line with the press, your job is to stop that ball going in. Um, However, I think blaming a lot of the blame on Jones and Soboslai is just the fact that people have their biases against those players, so they need a scapegoat for these games. They're not the root of the problem in that situation. Ebo should do with it. He should be switched on. Vert should be switched on to the issue. Neither are. Shada gets an easy finish. Mamadou, I don't want to be hard on Mamar because I feel like it's a 50-50. I feel like he dives out the way of the chance. If that's any other goalkeeper, I think he gets ripped to pieces. I think Mamadou has been perfectly fine. It's just, you know, it's Allison Becker who used to world class saves at times, and when we've needed him, he's done it. And that moment came up short. Kirkes gets a goal. There's just a lot of what you see in terms of the passing networks is very 22-23. And I don't mean that in the sense that people don't have legs. It's that it looks like a 2-4-4 or a 2-4-1-3. When we lost to Brighton, when Thiago was playing in the 10, it looks exactly the same type of passing network. So either Slot just decided to copy Pep Linders, or we're trying to do something that we tried to do 3 to 4 years ago, which is essentially create a possession base where we can pin teams back and deal with man v man pressing, which is what we've been trying to solve. The biggest thing we had last year and the biggest thing this year and in years past is that we have not dealt with man v man pressing. So what we've implemented is this idea of, okay, well, Gravenberg will push forward. Someone like Dom will drop into the six, Graven push forward. Kirkes will push on. Like, we're doing a lot of the rotational things, free positioning that you do in order to break a man v man press. But Brentford, it seemed to me that that was where all of Liverpool's anxieties about themselves just came to fruition. You know, we can see from a long throw. Jota died. You know, what is life? That's still a big thing that it's going to affect these players throughout the whole season. And like Klopp said in his in his podcast, they won't use it as an excuse, but it is something that is affecting them. And Salah can't keep the ball. Verts was ineffective. A lot of industry, but just not effective. Curtis Jones does a lot of good things, but doesn't really execute when it matters. Dom, he's having to cover 5 different positions, so you're not getting the best out of him. Gakpo, lots of cut inside. No one did not get the XG that you want. You can point across the field, and everyone has a question mark. Even Virgil van Dijk, I think, did not have his best game. Virgil has these moments where when things are going to crap around him, he's like, well, I have to do Konate's job for him, without understanding that you've now caused the whole issue with the pit. He goes a bit Dejan Lovren at times, which is not something I usually say about Virgil, but he tries to take control of the situation in the worst way possible. Yeah, it'll get better. But my God, I don't want to live through that again. I don't want to live through that again if I could.
Yeah, I think when we started the season, Hassan, I think with all the signings that we've made, I think I think everyone kind of thought that we were just gonna smash everyone 4-5-0. Obviously, it doesn't work that way, and we've kind of discussed it and touched upon a bit at the beginning of the season when we discussed that it's gonna take some time for Slot to get a system where he gets the best out of everyone, though I didn't expect it to be this bad. I think, as Dan said, even against United, I think, hitting the post 3 times. I mean, obviously, you're gonna have to want to you're gonna want to take your chances, but at that point, you can just call it flat out bad luck. In instances like that, but against Brentford on Saturday was just, I didn't understand anything out of that game.
Yeah, I the thing is, the teams now know how to play against us, and the better they are at set pieces, the better they are at long balls, they will trouble us. And I think for us, the team is, everybody is looking at attack. We don't defend as a team now. I think last season one of the best player, if not the best, was Gravenberg, and we are now again missing him. I think he was the one who was thinking about defending situations with the defense, but this season it's it's been a bit weird as well that Gravenberch has been given license to roam freely. He's not as disciplined as he was last season, and I think we have been crying out loud for a replacement for a midfielder like Fabinho. We just bring Endo in, who was who's a bit older, who's not as skilled as Fabinho was at his prime. I think there was there. I think Slot wants a midfielder who can be a more versatile. But I think in some games we need a midfielder who's defensively really sound, and who's more looking at defensive situations, who's street smart and knows. Uh, I just was thinking about one game when it was against, I think, Arsenal, when Salah was running towards goal, and the defender was covering back, but Mane, because he was so street smart, he went across the defender, so slow him down so Salah can be free. So I think now we are not. There are so many situations when there's Wirtz have the ball, and there are three and four players around him, and they take off. There's no one for us who is uh, fouling or making the other team a bit uncomfortable. They become so comfortable against us. Everybody is. They know that they can, like at Brentford game, there was instance they were bullying us, and uh, they when they were attacking, they were so in sync, and our defense was not in sync. So that is the thing which worries me, that as a whole team we are not defending, and in attack, okay, we have some uh, nice sequences sometimes, but we are not suffocating the teams. We are not play. There are no game in which I see like we are hitting the post three times, but no, there's nothing like we built a goal like a team. It's a long shot or something snappy. So I think there needs to be, because till now we don't have, like last season we know who our 11 is. Now still now it's not perfectly uh, get it done.
Yeah, we do have a few more comments in the meantime. So, well, yeah, you don't get as many clicks though. That's the downside. But yeah, I think you look. Don't get me wrong. I think obviously it's okay to be able to criticize, some aspects of games and stuff like that, but when you look at it, like some of the things you see, I think, and it's not even online at this point. You hear pundits and the way they talk, even you hear how even Jamie Carragher, the way he talks at Sky is a bit. You look at him and you like, is this a Twitter troll or is this Jamie Carragher? Because the things that you hear at times, even pundits nowadays, you get on a bad run of 3 or 4 games, and then obviously everything's different now. Um, I think the only one that I've seen in football that I've constantly seen have a level-headed opinion is, out of all people, out of obviously outside of Liverpool, I mean, is Pep Guardiola. When you hear him say, the way he talked, obviously before the Brentford game, but I think he still holds the same opinion now. Is um, 3 or 4 weeks ago, everyone was saying Liverpool are champions, and they were saying City are done, and now City are in a title race, and now Liverpool are done, and it's never like that. And I think,
And City lost the other day too. They lost to Villa, and they did not look good.
yeah, well, but I think as Hugh says, it's at the end of the day, we are obviously going to have a bad spell. Now, obviously, I don't think anyone expected us to lose 4 games in a row in the league, which is in that regard, I think it depends how you want to define a crisis, I suppose. But in my eyes, you could call it that. 4 defeats in a row in the league, one of them being to Manchester United at home. is less than ideal, but I think, as we said, as Dan said, it's gonna get better. Hopefully it's not gonna get worse before it gets better, like we did, because it already got pretty bad. So hopefully we've seen the worst of it. Only upwards from here.
The worst
Um,
part is having to watch this absolute dog of a team in Arsenal with like the bottom level creativity being top of the league. Like it's pure Tony Pulis Stoke City winning the league at this point with their underlying numbers. It's absolutely insane. That's the worst thing. I can never forgive the bold frauds of Pep Guardiola and Arne Slot for this nonsense that they've generated, allowing Mikhail Pulis to somehow be top of the league with that Arsenal team.
it's shocking. They're in the bottom three for chances created from open play. Right?
19th,
Yeah.
and they are 20th in terms of percentage of goals from open play.
That's shocking. And see, that's one that just kind of gives me still, Drew. I don't know if you agree. Obviously, we're gonna have to get a
We
string of
can't
games, a
be
few wins.
salty, man. Arsenal
Few
have conceded 3 goals in the
Yeah,
entire
and they've
Premier
scored
League.
probably the
Like,
same amount
You're
of open
4
play.
center backs and 2 DMs. I wonder why they don't concede
and they're top of the
goals.
league. Like, Pep's losing, we're losing. Like, look who's in the top 3 right now. It's Bournemouth, Sunderland, and Arsenal. Like, the game's evolving and shifting back to this kind of prehistoric, like, big guys on the field dominating, and look at us, we're falling apart. Like, Slot doesn't get it together. And again, I'm not in crisis mode, but it's like I'm not gonna sit here and like pick pins at Arsenal when they're clearly executing exactly what they want to be doing and are top of the league while doing it.
Game is gone. The game is gone, Drew. That's all I gotta say. Game's gone.
It
I
flows.
don't want to
Fads
anymore.
flow, man. There's sometimes that style's in play, that sometimes it's not. Like you see that in the history of anything.
It's like the meme says. It's like I'm not even falling out of love with football. I just don't want to play anymore. I can't get the Art Accrington Stanley manager back in the day. I'm falling out of love with football.
I mean, we won, like, why I never dismiss the Carabao Cup is because we get moments like when we beat Chelsea with the youngsters, but we won from a header from Van Dijk. Like, if that was Arsenal, would we be just like, oh, set piece FC winning like a cup final? It's like we
We
won
did
plenty
score
of
quite a few
games.
open play goals to get
So
to that
We
final.
Drew,
do,
you
but I'm
watched
just
that
saying
game.
it
It was
doesn't
not.
matter.
It was not a win a header and like score a goal after like 4 center backs in a
What
deep block.
my point is I don't care how you win. Like that's what we're saying when we're like winning these 90-minute stoppage time goals. We're like, doesn't matter, win's a win. But as soon as Arsenal's winning in a way that we're like, it's anti-football. It's like, okay, but they're still winning. If they win the league, no one's gonna care. Like Arsenal fans are still gonna parade on everyone, and we're gonna sit there being like, well, it wasn't attractive. Like we're using that reverse psychology now, saying like,
It's
oh, like
World Cup here,
everyone
no one
dropped
will care.
off. Oh, I'm sorry, Hassan, what was that?
I said it's World Cup here, no one will care about Arsenal winning.
No, you know what the thing
Hopefully.
is? It's not that. It's if they win it, props to them. They've won the league after 20 years. It's their league, obviously. Enjoy it, celebrate it, I suppose. But what I'm trying to say is, they're are they creating enough so that during a whole campaign they can keep on scoring goals, keeping clean sheets like that? We've seen it last season, I think, as well. I remember I was so angry because Steven had a triple up in FPL of Arsenal defenders, and he kept on getting clean sheet, clean sheet, clean sheet, and he kept on getting points. And then somewhere at the middle of the season, in December, January, February, they started to drop so many points, and that was the time where we kind of knew that, yeah, we're going to win this league. And look, obviously they had a lot of injuries that season as well, but I'm just saying they can win it. They're favorites to win it at this point. Yes, true, but I'm not completely sure they're looking like a team that are going to win the league. It's
I'm not
just
saying they're gonna win the league, but it's obvious they have a game plan, and it's not like we don't know what it is, but we go into Brentford knowing what they're gonna do, and we can't defend it. Like Arsenal are getting these 1-0 wins. Like if that ends up winning them the season, who knows, or the title, then they did exactly what they wanted to do. They've executed it and they won. But like whether or not, like that's all that matters at the end of the day. Whether or not they're going to do that, whether or not they're going to fall out, that's why I don't really care what they're doing. It's like we got to figure out what we're doing, because if we're not challenging, if City isn't challenging, then Arsenal are just going to continue what they're doing and no one's going to come close. Kind of how we won last year.
I do have a point. I do have a point for bringing that up, though. It's because, like I've said in the chat, it's much harder to coach an attack than it is to coach a defense. And what I mean by that is that obviously defensive issues come down to, like Wes has mentioned, like Hassan mentioned, and Drew, I think you touched upon it too. It really comes down to working together as a unit. And part of that issue right now, as we've seen, is that Salah is not really good as a presser on the right wing versus trying to do the screening job that Dominic Szoboszlai has done last year. Not as effective, I would argue, but he's still doing a good job, I think. Grav had the knock against United. If Gravenberg's not injured, do we lose against Brentford? Maybe we draw that game. You know, if Slot's not trying to do this thing he's trying to do to break man pressing. My point being is that our attack, for the most part, statistically, is fine in terms of we're obviously right now we're underperforming our XG while other times we were overperforming during the year. So we've kind of like gone the opposite way, which just happens. But right now, to solve our defensive issues, it's not complicated. You just need to stick to, as like you mentioned, stick to a game plan to do it. And defense usually is something that you will always eventually revert to. You'll always be able to fix your defensive issues. It's much harder to take an attack that's bad or underperforming and go the opposite way. Like Rafa in like 07, 08, 09, back in the day would like take the shackles off because they still lost, like Liverpool still lost the league in those time periods. It's much easier to say, okay, we have the attack working, but we're leaking. Let's see if we can figure out how to balance that. That's a much straightforward thing to solve than the opposite. Like, oh, we're not conceding goals, but we're not really generating that much either. And Arsenal will eventually not score goals. Yeah, their defense is great right now, but there will be a time when Arsenal need to score a goal and they won't. I could be wrong. They could go on and win all their games, Drew. I'm okay. Like if Arsenal win the league, I really like good on them. I don't care. World Cups here, no one cares. You know, I'm not going to cry a lose sleep over it. But I'm not going to let Arsenal fans be. I'm not going to give them a fair shake. I've had to deal with their asses for 4 years. I have a personal grudge against Arsenal. I will slander them every chance I get. That's what FSG pays me to do. That's why I'm in Boston.
Yeah, fair enough. I think we forgot to mention that at the beginning. We always forget to mention that, Dan. But it is what it is. Yeah, so I do actually agree with it, and I think it's even when you look at things against United, conceded the first chance. The first chance that they created was basically a goal that shouldn't have stood, by the way, but fine. Against Frankfurt, even the first chance that they've scored. Against Brentford, again, first chance they've scored. I think these things you can't really control. Like, I think obviously we could have defended better, of course, for those specific, all of these three chances, yeah. But I just mean when you constantly concede the first chance, you get into the game being 1-0 down, obviously kind of, messes things up a bit. It's just, maybe I'm reaching, maybe, as Dan said, maybe Arsenal are going to break every record. They're going to concede like 12 goals all season. They're going to beat Chelsea's record from 2005, whatever. They're going to win the league. And again, they can do it. I'm just saying that it's early days, and obviously it's difficult to kind of assess things until now. But as Drew said, West, I think we've been talking for like 35 minutes before we finally get to you. So I think we were just to kind of get your opinion on the whole Brentford game, and of course on what we've discussed. How do you see things? How do you respond to the out allegations that Dan's launched at the beginning of the stream?
No, you see, to be honest, they are true. You know, they are true. The allegations are true. I am guilty. But then, like, I think for me, yeah, losing to United for me was at Anfield, and the way we did, and you keeping Salah on, And then taking him off when we're 2-1 down, for me, that was a coward move. And also, when you see, when I saw he lost the plot, when he started talking about, like, I didn't expect United to play long balls or team changes, that's when I'm like, you're losing it now. And then the Brentford game, yeah, where he throws Rio on when we're 3-1 down. For me, I don't know what, tell me what did you expect Rio to do in that game? Like, completely nothing, because like Salah couldn't get a change, Gakpo couldn't get a change, Florian Wirtz couldn't get a change. So you expect a 17, 18-year-old Rio coming to change the game for us. And like for me, like persisting with Salah, of course Salah has been our greatest player ever. For me, it's Gerrard, but then I hear when people say Salah. But then how can Salah last the whole game? Even though he scored, like, I would be fine if we were 3-1 up, because now 3-2 makes like the game was a close margin, which it wasn't. We got popped off the park. Crystal Palace was the first half, like the score should have been 5-1 or 4-1. We got popped off the park. For me, my concern is people say we missed Trent, but then like I don't think that's the issue. The first of all, these guys can't play like hit five passes together. Secondly, we're too open, and which I don't know why. I don't know who told him to like change the system, make us open. I know you want to gang and press, but then like you don't have the players for that, and you been keep going and going with this persistency. From game week 1, Liverpool always 2-0 up, and then we're 2-2 because we get ran to. Newcastle, same score. The Arsenal game, of course, was a free kick, cool. The Everton game, it was a derby. Burnley, okay, they played around ball, but then that's when the losses come from Crystal Palace, Chelsea, Manchester United at Anfield, Brentford now, Galatasaray. So now I look at the team, I look at him now. So what are you doing to change it? Can't you make us at least compact? Not too open, because every time the Brighton game, man, when like I think when Brighton had the throw in, I knew those I smelt a goal coming. And then guess what? Long throw ins, these guys can't jump to save a life. Goal. And like the second one, Master's really should have done better. I think he dived away from the ball instead of to the ball. And like for me, that's a because I know Allison is saving that. No matter what, Allison is saving the 1v1 chances. So now I look at the manager now, like Kirkes, you keep sticking with Kirkes. The first goal that they scored on Kirkes' head. Why? Like, of course, Kirkus is your new sign. Robertson is rushed, but then like we see what experience Robertson brings compared to a Kirkus. Kirkus is 21. I see people want to crash it on him in the group chats, but then like for me, I'm not like that. I thought that you play Robertson until we lose badly. Because now on Frankfurt game we went 4-4-2. Tell me why you couldn't take that formula and put in the Brentford game. Of course, Jeremy got injured. Okay, you just put Conor Bradley, you play KSR front with Ekitike, you keep it stepping, try something else. Stop sticking with 4-2-3-1, because we getting ran to. Brentford, like this game, they should have beaten us even more. Yes, Gio pulled out some great saves, but then like it saves that Ellison would have made anyways. The important saves that he couldn't make was the 1v1 chances. But then like for me, I really don't know, because now every game we play, in 5 minutes time we're 1-0 down. Only the Frankfurt game where they scored in like the 30th minute or something like that. But every game we play, we're 1-0 down. Caicedo is having rockets of shots. Bremo is getting his first goal at Anfield. Otada, a former Bournemouth player, is scoring like from throw-ins. Tony Pulis with the towels and all sorts. So like I really don't know how can like, and like I see you guys saying like the Crystal Palace game, I'm looking forward to it. I don't know, because I feel like this team will end up just killing my day, to be honest. So for me, I do stand by the allegations until he proves me right. But then for now, yeah, pack his bags, the P45.
Well, a lot to unpack.
I
Hopefully,
feel like
your bags.
Wes is more patient than Miriakis said. Nottingham Forest, not Forest. If he was the owner, he would have sacked Slot and brought in his mate from Turkey at this point. Wes is more patient than Miriakis. No, I get Wes's point. I think it's in terms of like being open. I don't think it's like a conscious decision. I think it really comes down to the fact we're sloppy. So because we're sloppy, we're open. We're open because we're trying to get in possession and because we're losing the possession bad places. And it's not just like Curtis or Dom, it's Verts, it's Salah. Salah's been a huge problem with this losing the ball. It's been McAllister's been sloppy. Gakpo's been fine, but Kirkes has been sloppy at times. Konate's been sloppy. Bradley, I think, has a weird half where it's like he's bad for 45 and then good for 15 and then gets subbed. And this is also this is where I think Slot deserves criticism, is that one, he throws Kirkes in. Klopp did that with Robbo, but then he played Moreno for a long time before he actually let Robbo play full time. And I feel like he could have just let Robertson start the season and slowly bet in Kirkes, but he's thrown Kirkes in the deep. And I think Kirkes has been fine. I think he's just dealing with the fact that we're being targeted with direct passes. So he's going to get exposed because that's what happens with these setups. Hugo's been good, but it really comes to the fact that Salah just, again, like I said, it's not because he's old. He literally just does, his touch is just not there. And it just hasn't been there most of the season. Up until that goal yesterday, he just has not had, he's not been able to hold the ball up. He's losing the ball in bad areas, and everyone's running forward, trying to get into position, and they does well. The Maguire goal, the reason Harry Maguire scores that goal is because after that initial header, when the ball comes back out to Bruno, who plays the first time, everyone's pushing out trying to score a goal. Like Dom, the midfielders are pushing up to try and score, to run the transition. But Maguire gets behind, I think it's Kanate or Verge. I don't remember who it was, but he gets behind whoever and gets an easy header. So it's that combination of players are making bad decisions. Players aren't playing up to the standards that they can. We know they can play. It's also the fact that Slot is making mistakes in terms of choices, but then also not letting players rectify those choices. He's taken that option away. Klopp did this all the time where he may put out a bad lineup, but he'll tell them, no, you're going to go solve this. We also had 3 subs who kind of had to. It's like, no, you have the second half. Go solve this. I'll sub you on 75 and 80, but you have 20 minutes to fix this problem. And I think Slot's been too willing at times, I think, to tinker. Like Wes mentioned, I think it's more the fact he's too tinkering at times. It's the yips. He's either tinkering too much, or he's not backing the players, or he's backing the wrong players at the wrong times. Listen, Salah may start on Crystal Palace, score a hat trick, and who cares? Maybe this is the thing that kicks Salah on in terms of his touch. Maybe not his pace, but just his touch and just getting that confidence and hopefully helping him with the fact that one of his mates is dead. I don't know. But it's one of these situations at the moment where every decision we make seems to be the wrong decision. And I hate those. We've all had those days, and I hate those days.
Yeah, I think it's obviously a mix. I think one one example of this is what I've seen in the way people are describing our game against United. I didn't think it was that bad. Like, obviously the result is horrible. We obviously hate to lose against United at Anfield, but the performance, it wasn't as bad. I think we had I mean, in my eyes, obviously I'm not going to blame the ref, but I think it was a pretty obvious pen at Ahmad's handball. Obviously, hitting the post 3 times. On any other day, one of those goes in, you talk differently about it. It's a bit of a result bias as well, because looking at the way we've played, have we really played that much worse in our last 4 than we did in our first 5 in the league? Like, not completely certain. Yes, Dan.
Brentford, yes. Brentford was terrible.
Brentford, yeah. We kind of agreed on it at the beginning of the stream. Yeah, I think the Brentford one was the horrific one, but yeah, outside of it, I think obviously, as we've said, I think as soon as we get a few wins in a row, it'll be well. We get 5 wins in a row, we can get a haircut or something like that. Hassan made now. One player that I think has been underutilized, let's say, is Federico Chiesa. I think every time he came on, you could see he's hungry. He's going head first in every duel, and I think he definitely has to start on Wednesday now.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it here or somewhere, but the one thing which really pissed me off about Brendan Rodgers was his signing and committee signing sort of thing, that he said that that player is a committee signing and he didn't really fancy them and didn't give them fair chances. So it always looked like that Chiesa was not his choice, that he was an opportunity target and he came in. So I think most of the time, the best slot gives him is a place at the bench. And when the things are not going well for us, then he's thrown into the mix. But I think the only game he started was against Southampton in the cup, and he was the best player on that match. So why don't, as Wes said, that if at Frankfurt he looked really good as well when he came in. So why don't he was not given the chance to start this game? He can could have started with Ekatike. Those are the two best forwards we have. Gapco is someone who can get goal. I think Salah, if he's not in best form, so he can be come in the cup games, and if when he regains his confidence back, he should be the first name on the sheet. But if he's not performing, why he he's starting? And Keza, who's everybody is saying that he's doing really well, so he should have been given chances. So I think there should be merit-based selection, that the player who gives the most and his output is the best, he should be selected. And I think all our worries started with Crystal Palace at the Carabao Cup. I think, oh sorry, at the Community Shield. That was the game which showed us that all is not well with all these superstar signings. So I think we should be. There are so many people saying that we should play reserves and everything, and give the rest. I think no, because we are so our level and performance and confidence so down. I think we really need a win, and a good win at Anfield to boost us. So I think we should go out with a really strong lineup.
And regarding this, what Hassan has just said, Drew, I have a comment here for you. First of all, TK, no, you don't have to promise to shut up. Look at it. Look at me and Dan. We're going strong. 3 years still on these streams, and we still can't shut up. So you don't have
We're
to.
in love. We're in love, Mihai. It's okay. You can
See,
admit
he
it.
could have shut up.
We're
Just
both
when I just
married.
mentioned him, and so yeah, you can obviously, we love to have these comments. You know, we kind of love to integrate them into the chat that we're having, obviously live. So Drew, I'm asking you, or well, TK is asking you, let's say, do you think that Mo Salah needs to basically play his way out of this form that he's in? So, in to kind of ask you a question now, would you start him against Palace on Wednesday to kind of help him get through, maybe give him a bit more confidence, or is it just he shouldn't even start at this point?
If you're gonna start him in that context, I would against Palace, but I wouldn't want him starting in the Prem if he doesn't show up against Palace. Because I think there is some merit to playing through like a bad spell, but like he's been playing through a bad spell. He got the goal this weekend, which is a fantastic goal, but his overall gameplay has been poor. And then at that point, it was almost like a consolation goal. Well, it turned out to be, but like the role too, it's not in previous seasons under under Klopp where Salah did more defensive like contributions. Like he even talked about how Salah changed the role he played, and is like, we're gonna have you play less defensively so that you can score and create more on offense. And last year was the perfect example of how that worked really well. We won the title. This season, that's hurting us. And if we had no other options, sure, like let him play through it. I think he'd take it on. But Dan said it before, where it's like he lost his best friend. It doesn't seem like he's mentally, or one of his close friends. It's mentally, it's not looking great. So I think you need to put in the players who have that fresh energy. Like it seems like we're all talking about how Slot doesn't know his best 11 yet. That's a problem. Like 9 games into the Premier League season, and he's just tinkering. Like Wes said it, like too much tinkering, throwing on all the offensive players at the end. How many games have we ended where it's like you just have Virgil on the pitch, just like the low? Yeah, thank you, Dad. 5, 6. Like and then Mihai, back to what you were saying. Like we're not playing much worse than we were for the first 5 games that we won. It's like no one thought we were playing well then either, just in spells. It's like, oh, you're winning playing badly. That's the sign of champions. Wait till it clicks. It hasn't clicked, and we're not winning. Like that is the problem. So for me, I go to what Hassan said about you play the players who are playing well. You play the players who are like earning their spots and bringing that energy. Like he needs to be more ruthless. And then back to what Dan said about like sticking with the team. Like this is like chop and changing. Like I can't imagine that's great for any of the players for rhythm. So it's a tough move, but like if you're gonna give Salah that opportunity, you've already given Salah the opportunity to slump. He really needs to turn the corner in a huge way for like a hat trick game against Crystal Palace or like just a blinding performance. But we've seen that from like Chiesa when he steps up. So it's one of those ones where I don't want a player to be bigger than the club. Like obviously it's not like Salah sucks now or like he doesn't have a role to play, get rid, because clearly he has done so much for this club and can still do more. But right now, starting for me doesn't seem to be the answer. And I don't think you should play him out of that funk unless you give him that final chance against Palace. But if he doesn't take that, like Chiesa needs to start. You need to find a different way to get this team working.
Yeah, I think I agree, and I think obviously it doesn't really help the team either that we're not winning. Because if Mo Salah had like a dry spell and we were winning games, it would have been like a meme, maybe. Let's pass the ball to Salah, let's get him, help him score a goal, whatever. But in this situation, with the way he's playing, it's not even because it's not even the fact that he's missing quite a lot of chances, right? He's not even there, and his numbers, yeah, it's difficult to see. And West, we've discussed. You've said it. You've said that you're still not convinced with Arne Slot in this season. So I would ask you for your starting 11 on Wednesday. How would you see that team? Who should start? Because I mean, at this point, we maybe should rotate, but then do we even afford to do that? Because still, Palace are one of the most informed teams in the league, I feel.
Like for me, yeah, like I see rumors that like Kevin Ramsey might start, Woodman, the third goalkeeper, might start. For me, I say take the Frankfurt game. Of course, I want Van Dijk playing these type of games because if he gets injured, I think our season is done for real. But then like I don't want to see Salah starting, and I don't want people to think I have an agenda. I just don't want to see him starting. Like I just want to see Chiesa starting because now, yeah, as you said, like playing Salah into form. For me, like I think Slot is running. He needs to start winning games instead of him focusing on players' happiness. So he needs to start winning games for himself. Because now, you remember, like yesterday in the group chat, you showed me the odds, like how many slots is gonna get sacked. Like this, like to be honest, the money we spent at the start of the season, I would never say that like, oh, Slot's gonna get sacked. But then now it's very bad where now he's trying to play players into form. No, like you need wins. And like Premier League, Carabao Cup, he needs to win on Wednesday. Not need to, but then like for me, just get a win. Try and build a momentum a bit.
All right. Wow. Insightful. And I think
I think
Arne Slot has cut West's internet. I feel.
FSG found and they found West.
Yeah.
No, I think West highlights, but I think West highlights the contradiction of what's going on with right now with Slot in there is that you have the thing of I need to play Isak into form, I need to play Salah into form, I need to back the players that I know have quality, and also I need to win games. So it is that dialectic between those two competing things right now where they're not going the same direction. So Slot's going to have to eventually choose one way or the other, and it's going to break one way or the other. I think obviously Calvin Ramsey's a good reason. I like Calvin Ramsey. I thought we shouldn't have bought a right back in the summer. We bought Jeremy Frimpong. However, on review, I would say Frimpong's not really a right back. That man is small. He has not been. I don't think Jeremy Frimpong's been as good at right back as we would have liked. He just needs to bulk up. I think he'll be fine. Maybe throw Reese Williams in. Could throw Reese a game. Like one thing that would buy Slot a lot of credit for this Palace game is if it's Higuaín gets a start, Ramsey gets a start, Williams gets a start. He backs some of the guys that are part of like the other squad. Yes, it would be good to win, but if we lose the Palace in the Capital One Cup in the 4th round, I don't really care. Like if we lose on penalties or something to Palace, I don't care. That's not the issue. The issue isn't cup games right now. The issue is you need to win the league. You need to get a win in the league. That's where your momentum lies. And so if he throws a changed team on and he lets them play and we go out, who cares? I don't care. I don't care about the Capital One, Carabao, Coca-Cola League Cup. I don't. Like I care
But
about
if we
the league.
lose against Palace and then lose again in the Premier League,
But listen, that's the thing.
At what
That's the
point
risk.
are we?
That's the risk. Then listen, that's the risk. That's the risk. They go to the international break. He's going to have some tough questions, but he's not going to get sacked before the international break. He's not going to get sacked during the international break. But my thing is, I'm not judging Slot on how he does well in the League Cup. We win, great. If not, I don't care. That's never been the metric for managers. And I think one of the reasons we ended up losing the title in 21-22 is that we kind of go for the quad too much. If we don't go for the quad so much, maybe we win the Champions League, maybe win the league, though again, that's dubious because we weren't in control of our destiny. I think I always see the League Cup as a poison chalice. It's great if you can win it with your 3rd and 4th string, but if you're having to start players that's not like Salah who needs form, it's kind of a poison chalice.
I think so. I get what you're saying, and obviously, I think a few weeks back, I did say the same. I said that I don't care if we lose against Southampton in the Carabao Cup. I don't. But at this point, we're playing Palace on Wednesday, yeah. So then we're playing Villa in the league, and then our next 2 games are Madrid in the Champions League, and then we're playing City at the Etihad in the league. So if we were to lose against,
we'll beat City. I'm not worried about City. We'll find a way to beat City.
At Etihad, I don't think we've always had the best of results, and it's not even it's only Etihad, but it's not out of the realms of possibility to lose against both Madrid and City. And so if we lose against Palace as well, it's like, yeah, it's not that big of a deal to go out of the Carabao Cup, but it's the fact that we keep on losing games and we need to start winning. We need to start getting a few wins together. And so I do agree that, yeah, you're not going to play, your first 11 that you want to play against Villa, that you want to play against Madrid. You're not going to play him against Palace. But we have to do the best we can to get a win, not because we want to progress in the Carabao Cup, but because we need to get a win, because it's a bit, doom and gloom if we don't, especially with the games coming up. And in terms of confidence, I feel like to get into that Madrid and City games, you need to get a bit of confidence going. So West, I think Slots cut your internet access. You can
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Like, did you guys hear what I said? Because like I was talking, and all of you guys just froze, and I was like, "What's going on here? Like, what's going on? Like, are people trying to steal the Wi-Fi or something?" I had to ask my little brother if the Wi-Fi is working. So like, I didn't know. Like, did you guys hear what I said or something? Because you guys all froze, and I thought maybe you guys were the problem, but then it looked like I was.
Yeah, well, it's never us. You always have to blame the others. That's what I do in relationships and in life in general. So, yeah. But you were in the middle of your point. Can you maybe finish that and let us know regarding your who would you play basically against Palace on Wednesday?
Oh, for me, I said, I wouldn't I would play everyone else, but then for me, I said I wouldn't start Salah. Like, I want to see Salah in the team because I think he's becoming a liability now. Like, the Salah from last season would try and create for the team. The Salah from this season now, he can't even get his first touch right. He can't even pass the ball now. Like, of course, I knew Salah couldn't take a player on, so there I'm not surprised. But then, now, he can't even do a 1-2-1-2 with Soboslad or anyone else. I just you see for Salah, for him, I think he needs to be dropped because I know I want to do revision on Klopp, but then Klopp was dropping Salah in these games. Klopp was taking Salah off the games. We've seen Klopp do that. Salah would get angry, but Klopp couldn't care less. For me, Ancelotti needs to be winning. Like this thing of saying, "Oh, I want to just keep Salah." So even the press conference when I saw a quote from Fabrizio Romano when he was talking about Salah, like Slot needs wins. He needs to start winning games before the ship sinks. Because like this thing of you saying, "I'm gonna rely on Salah," like it does look like it's working now. He needs to get some wins. So if Slot wins against Palace, yes, I'll be happy, but then like I still look at it with like a side eye because I want to see against Aston Villa now, the bread and butter of the Premier League. Because if let's say Slot loses against Aston Villa, we're back to square one again. So there's no point of saving us anymore. So like for me, drop Salah, play whoever you play. Just take Salah off the front. Like, I think with Chiesa brings more. Like you can see the pressing, it brings more compared to Salah. So yeah, that's why I say just take Salah off the team.
Well, obviously we're gonna be streaming. I think we're gonna be streaming just after the Palace game as well. Can you? I'm not completely sure we are. Are we? I don't really remember. But anyways, we're gonna be streaming in the days. Yeah, I don't know what I was trying to say there. But we are going to be streaming obviously in the upcoming days. So hopefully you're gonna be joining us then again. Until then, we are going to end tonight's live stream here. I'm gonna, obviously thank a lot to the guys, to Dan, Hassan, Drew, West. Thanks for being here tonight. Thanks to all of you obviously in the chat. Thanks for liking, subscribing. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel. Please make sure to hit the bell icon in case you want to get notified when we are going to be streaming. And hopefully we're going to get a win on Wednesday because it's been long overdue. Thanks a lot to the guys. And until next time, up the Reds.